Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, the one and only Hosting Cruz, bringing you another exciting edition of boxing. Don't forget to hit and to like, subscribe to my channel. It's always greatly appreciated. Stay tuned. Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Hosting Cruz, and ladies and gentlemen, Edgar the Monster Berlanga is back March 15th in Orlando at Caribe Royale on the Zone. And he'll be taking on San Juan, Puerto Rico's own Jonathan Gonzalez Ortiz. So the battle of Boricuas in this fight. Now, as we all know, Edgar Berlanga is coming off that entertaining fight and famous loss, of course, to the one and only Canelo Alvarez by decision. You know, Edgar was in tremendous shape in that fight. He clowned a bit too much for me in that fight. But he had his moments, but of course, he got dropped and he got outclassed. And we all said that, okay, Edgar is going to learn from this. And, you know, these type of fights, that's what that's for. You learn from them, you get better, and you improve. And based on what things that I've been seeing in training, Edgar Berlanga looks really good in training. Sharp, explosive, solid, strong. You know, looking like the monster that we know, that we come to know and love, that we met in the first place when he was knocking out everyone in the first round. So we all were hoping that Edgar Berlanga would have got in there following his decision loss to Canelo Alvarez, that Edgar Berlanga will maintain his opposition level, like keep it top 10, top 15. But I was more expecting, at least for me, a top 10, like Caleb Plant, Macombi, Diego Pacheco. Those are fights that I want for Berlanga. And I was hoping and expecting that Berlanga would get right back in there with a top 10 super middleweight. But that's not the case. You know, Edgar Berlanga on March 15 is going to have totally the opposite of that, man. He's going to be fighting a fighter that, if you look, well, he's undefeated. Let me bring that up. He's 20-0, guys. 20-0. Pretty good record. 1 draw, 16 KOs, so he's got punching power. Listen to this. He's got 132 wins in the amateur circuit. 18 losses. Solid amateur career. Represented Puerto Rico in the 2017 Pan American Games, winning silver. And also he competed in the 2008 Olympics, so he's an Olympian. So he has a really good amateur background. So he's got some boxing skills. And he's been doing good. And then after that, he turned pro. And in the pro ranks, Mr. Gonzalez, Ortiz, was doing pretty good based on what I see. He started his career in 2009 and it ended in 2014 during his prime in his boxing career, fighting fighters like Serhiz Dzuric, who was former middleweight champion, fought Sergio Martinez and all that good stuff, all tremendous fighters. Brian Vera. So he's been in there with some good fighters. Jonathan Ortiz got a draw with that fighter. Split decision draw in 12 rounds. And he was fighting guys with records of 23 wins, 3 losses, 37 wins, 1 loss. Split decision wins with 32 wins, 5 losses. Like I said, he's undefeated. And during those time, from 2009 to 2014, Jonathan Ortiz was doing pretty good in his professional career. And then for whatever reason, he left boxing. Didn't box for 10 years. So he stopped in 2014 and came back last year. Had a couple tune-up fights. You know, it's been 10 years. That's a long time without fighting. To get back on track, get that muscle memory going, get that ring rust off. There's a lot of rust. And he's been successful. He's 2-0 in his comeback, and he's got 2 KOs with it. He's won both fights by knockout. So they saw that, Edgar Berlanga's management team. They saw this fight was best for his interests, for their interests, and the entire team's interests. Like, okay, Edgar's coming off a loss to Canelo. Many fans are expecting him to jump back in there with a top 10. But let's take it easy. Let's take a step back. And we're going to give him a fighter with a lot of experience, undefeated, but hasn't been active in 10 years. Yes, he's got a couple wins, tune-ups against what you call tomato cans. You won those fights by knockout. Now let's put him in there with Edgar Berlanga and see what he can do. Now, when Jonathan Ortiz stopped boxing in 2014, he was 24 years old. Now he's back at 35. There's a thing now. He's 35 years old now, stepping in there with a young, strong, solid boxer, puncher, 27-year-old Edgar Berlanga, who's right now supposed to be his time, not Jonathan Ortiz Gonzalez Ortiz time, even though he's undefeated. Good amateur background, had a pretty good professional career on the come up until he retired for 10 years. But being 35 and not really been active for 10 years, regardless of your amateur career and all that good stuff, this is not supposed to be your time. Now it's boxing. Anything can happen. You know, maybe Jonathan Ortiz, right? With his amateur career and his pretty good professional career on the come up that he had prior to his retirement, his exile, he came back. He's back for a reason. You know, he's had those 2 tune-up fights, and now he got the call for Edgar Berlanga. So guess what? This is an opportunity of a lifetime. This is for Jonathan Gonzalez Ortiz to continue where he left off back in 2014. And I'm sure Jonathan Gonzalez is training his butt off for this fight, because this is an opportunity, like I said, this is the opportunity of his career, of a lifetime, and he's undefeated. He's never lost, so he doesn't know how to lose. So he's going in there in shape, ready, motivated, knowing that this is going to be a nice purse for him, knowing that if he beats Berlanga, more purse and more opportunities are going to come. So yeah, undefeated, doesn't know how to lose, and he's definitely going to go in there to win. He's not going to show up for a check, guys. I don't expect that from Jonathan Gonzalez Ortiz. This is the guy that can fight. This is the guy that can box. You know, he's been doing this from young, forever. This is his thing, boxing. So yeah, that's my only issue with this fight is that this guy, Jonathan Ortiz, he's 35 and he hasn't really been active in 10 years. This is gonna be his first real fight in 10 years. You know, I'm not counting the little tune-ups he had already last year. This fight right here is gonna matter. This is where it matters. He's got a real live fighter, live dog in front of him, and Edgar Berlanga, who is also on a mission. So Edgar is also on a mission, and Jonathan Gonzalez Ortiz has the opportunity of a lifetime, which I'm sure he's aware of. He's undefeated, can box, good punching power, and he's coming to try to cause a massive upset. So yeah, and the next thing with this fight, you know, with Edgar Berlanga, with this fight, is not even the main event. So Edgar Berlanga has really dropped. You know, Edgar was supposed to be the main event because we all were expecting him to be fighting a top 10 fighter, but he's not. He's fighting a good fighter, but a good fighter that hasn't really been active in 10 years. 35. You know, it is what it is. Edgar is actually the co-main event for this fight, ladies and gentlemen. It's co-main event at the Caribe Royale in Orlando, and the main fight is Austin Williams versus Patrice Patrice Volny. 12 rounds in the middleweight division. So Edgar Berlanga will be the co-main event. So yeah, just want to come out here and talk to you guys about the return of Edgar Berlanga. Let me know what you guys think about this fight. What do you think about his opponent? I know many of you were expecting Edgar to jump in there with a top 10, right into the fire. Because after that experience with Canelo, he's ready for anybody in top 10, man. Edgar Berlanga is ready for that, But we got Jonathan Gonzalez Ortiz, 20-0, 1 draw, 16 KOs. Pretty solid amateur. On the come up, he had a pretty good career, professional career. Looked very promising until he took a hiatus, 10 years. Most likely he probably went jail or something. When I read up on it, I don't see any reason why he left 10 years, but I'm sure it was probably he was incarcerated. But I guess he felt he still can go, and at 35, well, we're gonna see. Miracle Boy Boxing, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Hosting Cruz. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, guys. It's always a pleasure to talk to you guys about boxing, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.